Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
Buenos días, buenas noches. Hola, hola, ciao, Mike.
Ciao,
How
ciao,
are
ciao.
you?
Yeah, good, mate, good.
Welcome,
I'm
everybody.
buzzed.
Bienvenidos a todos. Nuovo episodio of Fratelli di Rugby, Italia, Argentina. Soon, really soon, in less than a week. Tomorrow the squad is out, and finally is starting our autumn international. So
Yeah. I mean, started last weekend for a few of the others outside of the window, and wow, lots to talk about, mate.
have you watched the game last weekend?
Which one?
I didn't watch Scotland Fiji.
Okay, yeah, no, I watched I watched the England game, and then I watched the first 24 minutes of the
24.
of the Scotland game. I can tell you why, mate. After the Darcy Graham try, where Hastings kicks it, and he by like a millimeter, he manages to get his toe on it, so he kicked it through. I was like, this is gonna be a cricket score, and it just lost the shine a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how Scotland play this weekend.
Yes.
Slightly different. It's just slightly different this time. So yeah, we'll find out. But Darcy Graham, we love him, don't we?
Yeah, but sadly we lost him for the next game against the Springboks too. So that is something that we're gonna miss in this game. Scotland, South Africa. Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a really interesting one. Obviously, both like different ends of the season, really, aren't they? Like in terms of a really cohesive group. And then obviously there's Scotland. Well, that, but also Glasgow playing well. So it's the value, isn't it?
No, absolutely. But if I think about Glasgow and the way they play against everybody, actually, every team in the last couple of years, Glasgow, it's really like, it's fantastic the way they play.
They're impressive, aren't
they? And when you see play Scotland at their best, because we know sometimes they're really low, but when they play at their best, they are really flying in the same way. So the flying Scottish sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I love what the Scots. I've always had a soft spot for the Scots, even in the Six Nations. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for them. So it's nice to see them doing well. And hey, who knows? Like, do you think this weekend we'll see an upset? Do you think South Africa is just too strong?
My God, South Africa is really strong. You are asking me that I have.
I'm asking you. You're the number one. Yeah, you're the number one fan outside of South Africa for South African rugby. So I had to ask you. I had to ask you.
Man, it's always possible. Yes. Interesting is the fact that we don't have the South Africa team out yet. Come on, it's Wednesday.
Razzie Mind Games, mate. Razzie Mind Games.
Yeah, let's see who is following on Instagram this week.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
So, on Twitter, sorry, but I'm looking forward to that game because I want to see the young new Springboks coming. How much space is gonna be for them? If it's gonna be capped, Anekum, it's gonna be interesting to see him playing against, let's say, all the players in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
He fight against them. He play against them during the URC. So yes, I'd like to see that.
And just a quick few words on the England game. What were your thoughts, England, New Zealand?
What were your thoughts about the 10 minutes at the end? Like, that was really drama, those minutes.
It's theatre, wasn't it? I loved it. I loved that game. I loved that game. Like, it was just Yeah, mate, it was just drama. It was just, like you said, perfect. Just high energy.
So
George
many things
Martin
happening.
is world class, mate. And then they bring Tuipulotu on, and he's just like, I thought George
Smash.
Martin, I thought Chandler Cunningham himself were like, and then Tuipulotu comes in and he's just amazing.
Always there,
Titi as well.
What do you think about the drop goal, all the situation around England? Marcus should stay in. I don't buy that thing. I don't buy it at all.
I think for me, and this is someone like just as a bit of like an outsider. I a lot of my friends, this was a big discussion in our rugby group, and I think one thing that I think is you can point at any player. Well, not any player, but you can pick quite a few players that made a mistake that contributed to the downfall of the game. So, like for example, Ellis Genge on getting burnt on the outside, not taking the space, or like the missed tackle, both on Talea for them to score the try, or you could pick anyone like to blame like George Ford for giving the go. At least he had the balls to do it. That's the way I see it. Like he could have shied away, but he had the balls to do it. And I think sometimes that tells you more about the players, and obviously against Argentina he smashed them across. Marcus Smith had 2 attempts and he missed both. So like it's one of those, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I was impressed by New Zealand, which obviously is going to be very, very on topic for us very soon. I did think as well, like the pressure that England put them under obviously caused a lot of offensive errors, which may be something for us to take some note to as well. Your thoughts, Otto, as the analytical eye of this?
I'm gonna say a couple of stuff, and then we can take a look at some stats from these 2024 internationals. So championship for Argentina and Six Nations and summer test for Italy. But the game, I totally agree with you. You mentioned the Argentina game from George Ford. I was at the stadium. I remember him putting all this drop goal in the warm up.
I need to call something out here. So Otto messaged me, I want to say 45 minutes before the game started. And he's like,
Marseille.
Yeah, you did. You messaged me 45 minutes before the game had started and said, George Ford is practicing a lot of drop goals. You mentioned, he was like, there's going to be a lot of
was surprising so many drop goals attempt.
You messaged me, you were like 45 minutes. He's like, he's practicing a lot of drop goals. And then I was like, okay. And I didn't really think too much of it until the game.
He was warming up with Mitchell, practicing the pass. Wasn't like Sinfield passing the ball, because he did a lot with him during that warm up. But Isa with Mitchell, I said, okay, it's not a prop that he's passing a ball to him and he's just, okay, I have 10 minutes, let me try a few. No, he's doing it with a purpose. And what's that?
Well, also, like, you make a valid point, obviously, about the partnership. And I think Kalen put it on Twitter. But had the pass been slightly better to George Ford as well, maybe that was enough. Like, it's a game of fine margins. And
one of the margin was found in that missed opportunity at the end, plus the other one before. But the Cameron Oigard,
he's good, man.
He did the runs to go and stop, to put pressure on Ford.
Yeah.
He was there. He saw that moment when he was slightly slow, Randall, in that pulling up and moving, and the quality wasn't the best. Was a slow ball. And of course, he got everything 9 against 9. I know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna take that opportunity to run, and he put pressure there. So really,
mate, he's young as well, isn't he? What, like 23, 24?
Yes, he already got a big knee injury, so look like he's gonna be
interesting. I wonder if he's gonna start against us. I think it's tough because obviously there's a lot of young All Blacks who are going to be quite hungry. And we're like the perfect team that like they would target to maybe bring on some of these players who may play at a level above the ones that are just already in the team, and it's just tough, isn't it? Like, so yeah, but I think there's a lot to learn for us in that game as well. So I know you're going to probably do a little bit more analysis when
we will, I'm sure. But no, let's talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the day for us. Shall we start talking about a little bit the game in general? You want some couple of heads up from our last 10 meetings against Argentina, and then we can go dig into the squad, Mike? So let's say 23 games. Okay, 23 games between Italy and Argentina. Italy wins 5 times, 1 draw, and 17 win victories for Argentina. Italy home have won twice, but both times was back in the days. It was in the 20, actually not in the 20. My God, it was really a lot of time ago, Mike. Too much.
2007?
No, 78 and 98. So it's more than 25 years that we don't win against Argentina in Italy. But the numbers, they're gonna go slightly different. Last time we won against Argentina was in Cordoba in Argentina in 2008.
2008.
Yes. Last 3 games against them in Italy were in Monigo in 2021, with great Boffelli in there catching the ball, creating chaos like they did the week before. I remember that game. It was pretty mad. Firenze in 2017, and then we play in Argentina, and then again in Italy in Genova 2014. So only 5 games in the last 10 years between the two teams that look so close. Maybe because we always had few Argentinians going around in the between federation, coaching, and players.
No, it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, the migration connection that we have between Buenos Aires and Genova, actually. So
you know what I find really interesting? Like, this is something where some teams do really well to capitalize on the marketing for certain games, right? The Welsh and the English, right? The Scottish and the English, the South Africans and the Irish, or the Irish and New Zealand. We should really be making more of a deal about like the Latin showdown, or whatever we want to call it. It's something that we could, breathe a bit of fire into this fixture and make it like even more equitable from a money standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, but also from a viewership standpoint. We can start like painting a bit of a narrative and a bit of a storyline behind it as well, which I think maybe that's something that both federations could probably do a bit better. So it's going to be, you said it yourself, like for a team that's so intrinsically tied, there's so little engagement over the past sort of 5-6 years. What was that, 5 games in
10 years?
10 years? I mean, we could probably be a little bit more, couldn't we?
So just to you're thinking this connection, years ago in 2006 there was the Coppa Intercontinental Cup called. It was played between the team that won the Serie A Elite, Eccellenza, Liga, top Italian league, and the top club team in Argentina. And it's been one only edition of this game between Calvisano and Indu in 2006. But that is something. Come on,
don't leave us into suspense. That would be a really good idea. Obviously, logistically, it's tough because costs and stuff.
For once, you can do it, because it can be made in December when they do something. I don't know, but that is interesting. Or Argentinian barbarians.
See, that I agree. The Latin barbarians, bring the French in as well. Although I think
bring the Portuguese, the Spanish.
the people that colonize. We could call it the Columbus team or something like that.
The Columbus team. The Garibaldi team.
The ones that colonized America. There we go. We'll be fine with that. That's right.
Mike, I'm gonna give you a couple of more stats to understand where are we and where they are. So
Yeah.
Italy have won more turnovers per game than any other men's tires one side in 2024 with 6.9, while only Japan with 15.6 have conceded more turnovers per game than Argentina with
Okay.
15.4. So they concede a lot of turnovers. We made a lot of turnovers. On the other side, Italy and Argentina both they are really dominant in the tackles. They had average per game 15.6 Italy, 14.3 for most dominant tackles per game. In the best tire team 2024, Italy Argentina, they are the hardest in that way.
Nice.
But the third point is that Argentina have gained an average of 515 meters per game, the highest such rate of any men's tires one side, but Italy have conceded the most meters per match of any team this year. So you see how stuff are on turnover is on a side, on the meters conceded gained, we are on the other one. Plus, there are a lot more to say about like line out success, scrum success, 97% Argentina. So we have little battles to fight in the field against a really well-oiled team that's been together for already a few months.
Yeah,
Let's say.
yeah, that's a big point, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna we
Quesada
don't have
pointed
time.
out, right?
Yeah, we don't have time to really sort of shake off the rust. So it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how we adapt to that. But these stats that you bring up, Otto, like it's interesting because it's sometimes the opponents that create the most amount of chaos and like the best games. So if we're really strong on one side, and like you said, the breakdown is going to be really key. That's like an Anglo thing, isn't it? Where they're really trying to sort of take the breakdown and own that breakdown piece. So if we can take, some momentum out and, they can run all they want. If they run 50 meters and we, turn over the ball and kick it back 50 meters, and do you know what I mean? It's one of those. As long as we play smart, then it could be a really interesting game. I'm hoping that it's going to be an open game. I know Quesada mentioned that he's changing the attack or making he said they're looking to change the attack. I wonder what he means by that. And also I wonder if he's going to experiment against a team like Argentina to see. So it's going to be interesting to see what he means and how things change.
And it's also so interesting for as a coach perspective that you want to improve, but you already have this big challenge in front of you that is Argentina, but then is not playing like a soft game the week after, which is Georgia, because there is all that revenge around that game, trying to winning that game. And then you have the big scary spooky all black after almost 100 points on the chin in the Rugby World Cup. So it's so hard for the coach, like, okay, how should I put the team? How should I get them ready in every moment of these 3 games for 10 minutes, 80 minutes, 160 minutes, depending how much they're going to play every of those players. So it's a great challenge, but Quesada seems the good guy. Whatever is going to happen, he wants players to play, to perform. Then the game can go in one side and the other one. But yeah, we have to do a couple of steps forward because the summer was come on, was a really good summer at the end. With summer, we know how it went, but we grew from there.
Yeah, it's funny. Like your last point was one that I was going to try and make and say. I think that this autumn, it's one of those where like we can either, roll the dice a little bit and do this new attack and see sort of how it fares. I'm still really interested in hearing and seeing what that's going to entail. But if we're stronger for it in the Six Nations, because let's be honest, the autumn, as much as it's important for engagement within Italy and all of that stuff, realistically what we're looking to do is sharpen the iron a little bit ahead of the Six Nations, because that's where, you know, our bread is buttered, and that's where we make the vast majority of our money, so that we can obviously perform, reinvest, all that jazz. It's going to be interesting to see how much time they actually invest in this, you know, new game plan and spending all of this effort doing that. Because, like you said, Otto, we need to improve from the summer. The Japan game was good. Still, lots and lots of that we can improve on there as well. But we need to be better than that to, you know, even make a scratch on these teams. So
I'm gonna add more to that. I said about the scrum, 97% Argentina. We are 87% of success, but on the line out, we have the best catcher in the air of the whole international players, which is Ruzza. Stats says Ruzza is the one that took the most line out. But line out, we have 80% of success. Against Argentina, they still have 88, almost 10 points difference too. And the gain line going forward in attack, we are on 37% of our carries goes forward. Argentina is almost 50% because it's 46%. So we have to be strong. Big tackler. We have Lamaro. Let's not forget Niccolò Cannoni is one of the best tacklers we had of the season. He's in the top 10 of the international games.
Yeah,
but it's tricky, Mike, and it's still trickier. The fact that they're not gonna have so some of those players, Argentina, that we know so well, like Kremer, Lavanini, Carreras. Mateo Carreras is not there, and attacking, defending against a team that maybe is less predictable, more option. But because I'm going there with my mind, I think we're gonna see soon Isgro, Santi Carreras, Malia. Change it how you want, Malia and Carreras, Santi, and Albornoz Stan. Maybe a
brilliant.
I'm going with all the option because you have 3 playmakers in that way, without thinking who's gonna play 12. Think Moroni maybe and Sinti as a 13. So that is for me how they're gonna go. If
Chocobaris is injured, isn't it?
Yep. So also there, how they gonna
use? That's a shame, but
man, they have so many players out. But they are such good players. Rubiolo, Ruiz, Franco Molina. These players are, man, they won against Argentina, against South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand this year.
Yeah. Enough said. Yeah, it's enough said that. Gonzalez is a good player as well. Like, I mean, it's just
Gonzalez, man, it's fantastico.
Yeah.
I want a Gonzalez too. I love.
Mate, he's so good.
Come on,
mate. When he signed for Saracens, like I was just like, geez, like they've
so young, Mike.
So mate, he's so good. He's so good.
Let me put the team out so we can see that, and also see who played for them. Let's start from this, because thinking about the Argentina's team, if I have to pick and to guess, Gallo, Montoya, Sclavide is gonna be the props maybe against us. Rubiolo and maybe Molina, or Petty and Rubiolo, or Petty or Molina and Petty too, but maybe more Rubiolo on the right side. They're gonna be the locks, blind side, open side number 8, I guess. Maybe like the last game against South Africa, Gonzalez, Grondon, Oviedo can be a really good shot because they don't have Kremer and Matera. Gonzalez, wherever you put it, is going to be good.
Yeah.
Bertranu probably starting in front of Garcia, even if Garcia play and knows us really well. Albornoz, Cinti, Chocobares, Carreras, they're not there. Santi.
So you think it'd be Moroni and Cinti in at center?
Man, Orlando is the other name over there. Let me put the team out. I don't know if they're gonna change more this team. Think about also the young players they have, because Elizalde is not to play. Doesn't come on, no. Maybe Cinti 12, Moroni 13 can be 2. I don't know if Delghi is gonna start against us. And then man, Fratelli. Fratelli probably can be one of those options against a team that he knows really well and he play with.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll probably be the utility. I don't think he'll start against us. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts against us, but I don't think he will. I think
And I'm
he'll probably
wondering
be
also
23.
if Bernasconi is going to be part of this Argentina, because he skipped, let's say, completely the championship, and I'm wondering if he's going to be there. Like,
Yeah,
we have so many Italians, no, Argentinians, because Basan Velez too is in the team, so they have those players there. Albert, Prisciantelli, we said already. There's no Kiki Mendy for now in this team, and then Bernasconi, as we said.
yeah. Well, it's interesting because obviously, as much as they know us very well, we also know them very well, and we'll know like the weaknesses that they'll have as well. So Prisciantelli, obviously, he can unlock a lot of doors, but also we could potentially have some areas of the game that we've probably looked at as well that he's not overly good at. I think actually a stat that I vaguely remember, and this is obviously your bag with the stats, but I think he's number one in the URC for turnovers conceded, Prisciantelli, like, so off his attacks. And it's typically because he manages to break the line and goes by himself. That's normally it's normally self-inflicted, but yeah, there's going to be some interesting battles and interesting matchups for sure.
On international level, one of the players that leaves more penalties is, let me see, one of them should be Vincent. Left 7 penalties during this international. There was one of them was there, but yes, Prisciantelli was really high in a lot of stats, but some of them they were raw. Yes, Vincent 7 in 7 games, 1 penalty conceded per game.
Yeah, I mean that's is this for club?
No, with Italy. Montoya, 7 games, 6 penalties conceded. Is in let's say second, third positions, something like that.
It's
But there are
interesting
many players.
Yeah, it's interesting that because I think like people talk about players that play on the edge. So like Toje, for example, Toje will give 3 penalties a game. Like he just will, but he'll take 3 penalties a game. And then you have to question, okay, with their involvements, are they net positive? And I think Vincent is net positive a lot of the time. Like he might give, but he'll take.
No, in general it is, but in this situation at the end they count as stats. But I give you another good stat. Only Tommy Freeman and Tommy Menoncello are the only 2 backs in the top 10 for dominant tackles this season internationally. In 8 games, Menoncello got 10 dominant tackles. Freeman 9 games, 1 game more than Menoncello, and still 10. Then we have Lamaro and Nicolò Cannone in this top 10 of dominant tackles. 12 Lamaro, 11 Cannone. In the middle there is Kremer, but he's not in the game. And Matera out.
Yeah, that's right. Capozzo's going to be topping that chart now, mate. Don't worry.
No, Capozzo's going to fly this week.
He's now that he's got that experience of boshing players. He's got the taste of blood. He's gonna go and start boshing people, man.
Claudio goes with hope in a good game, but no hope to win. La speranza è l'ultima a morire. Hope is the last to die.
Yeah.
How can I say something like that? La speranza è l'ultima a morire.
In English, it's the hope that kills you. Is the saying in English?
Okay.
It's the hope that kills you. It's
maybe, but in the last, if we lose,
for you, what you're saying is the opposite. I understand. You're saying like,
yeah, I'm doing the
hope
the
is the last
opposite,
thing that leaves you. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep dreaming. So, Claudio, let's keep dreaming until Sunday. Until Sunday, probably we're gonna wake up, depending how. If it's been only a bad dream, or maybe something more.
I'm going to go on the record and say, like, listen, I think it's a good opportunity for us here. I think, obviously we're going up against a team that's much more, established, who've played 3, months together, and we're, again, a very young side. But also that fact that we're young, we're unpredictable, and we've got high energy, and, we're coming in this fresh. There's a good opportunity here for us. So, listen, like,
how this game is nerves more than usual, Mike.
I don't think there is nerves. Like,
the Latino, the famous Latino attitude, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna feel more the heat?
Had Argentina lost all their games, then there probably would be some nerves, because obviously then it's like, the bottom of the rugby championship against, the people who have struggled traditionally in the Six Nations, and you can build some form of narrative there. But the fact that they've been so dominant and they've beaten, everyone in the top 4, they haven't beaten Ireland, have they? Yeah, no. So everyone bar Ireland. They beat, obviously, France at home as well. Don't forget.
Man, still 3rd position in the Rugby World Cup too.
Listen, I don't think there's nerves here. I think for us, it's a good opportunity for us to express ourselves. And I don't think,
I like it.
Yeah, I don't think there's nerves here, mate. I think now is a good time for us to show, like, the world, and it is going to be the world, because obviously there's going to be a lot of the Southern Hemisphere rugby championship people who are going to want Argentina to win, and similarly there's going to be a lot of Northern Hemisphere guys that are going to want us to win. So it's now a good opportunity for us just to show the world, this is what we want to do. And I think the boys should go in excited as opposed to nerves. There shouldn't be any nerves here, mate. No nerves. There's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Probably that is the key. Express yourself in the best way possible and keep performing. Now the mantra of work and perform. Keep performing to keep building on consistency.
Yeah.
Let's dig a little bit in our team before tomorrow is going to be released. The team, I think, around 2 p.m. Italy time, 3 p.m. Italy time. These are the choice made by Quesada since he arrived against England. The lower, of course, is the England game. The top one is the last game we play, so Japan. And I go, Mike, even with this, we put this on, like who's gonna play and everything. My team, let's say my team against Argentina is gonna follow up much more, mostly this, like the players that they started the most. I think Quesada is gonna go in that way. So I guess if Fischetti is not, if he's not available, okay, Spagnolo, and I'm pretty okay with that. Actually, let me just put our little faces down here so everybody can see it too. No, I cannot put it. Of course, I cannot.
So you're saying over here, Fischetti, Nicotera, Riccioni, that's going to be a starting front row.
Cannone Ruzza, the blind side, if Negri is fit and shiny like we saw him with the club this year, probably Negri is gonna start there. Lamaro on the 7, and probably, I guess, Cannone is gonna be the number 8. Pagello, Garbisi, Menoncello, Brex, Ioane, Lainag, Capozzo. I got really the more, I don't know, like probably the trust players for Quesada. The first choices. I don't like to say first choices, but the one that he maybe trusts the most to start.
Yeah. Again, like we always say, different horses for different courses. I can see, for example, Spagnolo starting as well. I could very well see him start, like you said. And then, like you said, Zambonin is going to be interesting. Ruz is obviously the person that's, more likely. But
so that's my question, Mike. Watching these, or the players that we have, I'm gonna just run through these different picks that we made. Also, because if you're just listening our podcast, go on Instagram and on X, and you can find all these posts we did in the last few days on the platforms. But we have so many options, but who can be the surprise choice for Quesada in this game?
As in to start.
To start, for example, Argentina can be a Fratelli starting against Italy.
Yeah.
Or another player. Who's gonna be a surprise starting for you?
For me, I think Tommy Alan in any capacity would be a surprise from based on what we've said. And who knows, Garbisi played last week, and then obviously they've had like a long training period. I think Alan was released the week early. It's going to be one of those where, like, who knows? If Alan starts, I wouldn't be surprised. If Alan starts either at fullback or at fly half, I wouldn't be surprised. But then also, I know Quesada has named Trulla a lot about how he likes his attitude and how he plays, and
the king of the good step. Yes,
he's got a bit of C, and he's got a bit of C about him, which we like. We love a bit of C here. So he could go in and rustle up feathers. Obviously, we're playing against the team who are fiery, right? And we should be like that. We should always be like that and let emotions. And he's the kind of person that could get like the team riled up in the right way. Also, he's the kind of person that gets the team riled up in the wrong ways. So it's double-edged sword, Otto, double-edged sword.
My God, let me read a couple of messages I saw here. Steven, I saw him pushing the right button to like our post in the last days. I think there's going to be more nerves next week against Georgia. As you said, the revenge thing is going to be hanging over us after the last couple of performances. Georgia is the must win. It's going to be interesting. We're going to be with our Georgian friends in Genoa, actually. So we're going to talk about this game much more tense for Claudio too, and then Claudio put Gallagher as an option. If Gallagher is in the team, how is gonna be a 6+2 in the bench, a 5+3? Who's gonna start on the right wing? Gallagher, we see is a player that can play under high balls, using the kick really well. Who can be the right wing? I'm going with the left wing. Is gonna be Ioane.
It has to be, right?
Man, Ioane is our best attacking player. Looking at the stats too.
I'm going to say Capuozzo. I think I really like him that wing. Obviously,
Capuozzo, Gallagher, Ioane.
I like that. I like that.
Man,
I like that. We've got the kicking threat.
No, you know what is interesting? That we are at that point that how they're gonna put it, I'm gonna be fine with that.
Yeah.
So
me too.
It's gonna be. It was so hard to arrive at this point, but they can fuck it up the game, man. But man, to trust in, okay, no problem. They're not gonna be. There's no Capuozzo, of course. There's no Capuozzo, but maybe Linehagen. We saw Linehagen internationally how he plays. So different players since when he played for Benetton this year and with Italy for now. Hopefully,
it's been a long road though, hasn't it?
Together on the same trail. Gallagher, somebody today said something like, at least Gallagher is not in the team. I'm good with that. Some Italian fan. But yeah, they said that. So you see, people want Gallagher, people doesn't want Gallagher.
I just don't understand it. Like, why are people judging people?
The game, Mike.
Mate, it's one thing, and this is something that I want to make abundantly clear for everyone who's listening. For me, how can you judge someone based on a snippet of a game, or how can you make a decision on something? Like, one thing that will always stick, and we can print it and stick it on the wall, because this is what happened when Marin was picked at 12 against Wales. Everyone was losing their goddamn little minds, and he was a standout player with the flu on the pitch. We go back to this so often, like 16 tackles and 60 minutes with the flu at inside centre. Like, how can you judge someone before they play the game? If you've got an issue with selection and you think it's a mistake, wait. Like, why are you putting undue pressure on our team for no reason? Like, Gallagher, he is a good player. Like, he's a great player, and he's got his assets. If he's the right player for the team, great, right? Like, if people have got an issue with that, wait until afterwards, do their analysis, come with a articulable, reason as to why they didn't like the performance. If not, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Don't talk to me about it. That's the way I see it.
Words. No. That's
the way it is, mate. It's just the way it is. Cloud, you're interesting.
Marinko starting the bench and be completely absent against Georgia. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Could be. Yeah.
How much he's gonna say about this? If we lose badly this game, how you gonna engage the next games? If you win, if you draw, if you fight, if you perform, whatever, is it gonna change the way we're gonna approach the next games?
I think Georgia is obviously always going to be,
that
game, right? Yeah, always, because that's the one where that's all they care about is beating us. It's like the England Scotland argument, right? They could have a good Six Nations if they beat England, lose every game, right? They don't care about anything other than beating us and proving that they should be in the Six Nations above us. So realistically, we do need to be. We don't need to be absent. Like, we shouldn't be absent in the Argentinian game. We need to make that a fight. We do need to fight every second. That said, in the Georgia game, obviously it's going to be a different fight because, we should be winning that game. Like, we should be winning that game, but nothing is given. We've said this 1,000,001 times, and every time we've gotten a little bit complacent and we've dared to dream we've been hurt, but we should be winning that game, and it's up to Quesada to prove himself. And I think, quite frankly, we trust Quesada, so like we should go in with an ounce of confidence. But yeah, they need to be in the Argentinian game. It needs to be a competitive game. And listen, like I said, I think I genuinely think we have an opportunity there to cause an upset, and I do think us winning would probably be an upset in all honesty, because of how good Quesada has been. Oh, sorry, how good Argentina has been. Quesada's been good too.
Think about the position number 9, Mike. I think we're gonna go with Pagelo and Fusco, and against Georgia we're gonna start with Gerbisi and Pagelo. I have this feeling.
Okay.
I think in these 2 games we're gonna see the 3 of them, but I think Fusco probably is gonna be the one starting, the one from the bench this game with Pagelo.
Who are Georgia playing first? Do they have a game before us, or are we the first game for them?
I gotta have this empty. Let me see.
Yeah, let's just double check that, because obviously you're right. We do need to start. Like the South Africans do really well. Like, they refresh their team, and they're not necessarily always playing the same players unless they have to. I wonder if they're going to
Georgia start with us.
They start with us. Interesting.
Yes.
So they're going to have like 2 or 3 weeks just playing and analyzing, and okay, fair enough.
I think so. Let me see again in some other website and stuff.
Whilst you're typing that up, obviously it's going to be interesting to see sort of how we come about. Now that we have the depth, and Otto showed the player depth on the screens, how we start cycling a few of those players. If Cannone doesn't start, does then Vincent start? Does Udicor stay on the bench? Does this impact? Like, there's so many iterations and so many different ways that we can play, and so many different horses for so many different courses. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how we perform on the day.
Man, I cannot wait to see the team sheet tomorrow. Actually, because tomorrow is gonna be really, really interesting to understand where we're going with selection too. So from tomorrow we can start understanding. Okay, we're gonna attack, approaching that way, something in that other way. Because I'm thinking like what they can offer every player in the field. If we go with a let's say mobile lock, how is gonna be Dino Lamb?
Yeah,
that is one of the new players for Quesada actually, because he never coached him. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering how he's gonna react. And in case Fischetti is not fitting, just in case, I'm wondering who's gonna be the other player with Spagnolo. Is it gonna be Rizzoli or is it gonna be Ferrari?
I think Ferrari will be present in a lot of games because he can play both sides.
So you think, in case we don't have Fischetti, Spagnolo and Ferrari, so Spagnolo starting or Ferrari starting and Spagnolo bench?
Yeah, so I think Ferrari will start on the bench a lot of the games that we will need him if Fischetti isn't ready. And then I'd say Riccioni, Ciccarelli, sorry, is for the props on the tight head, and then Ferrari can just slot in.
Makes sense.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, obviously, isn't it?
Then we said Cannone, maybe Nicolo Cannone.
There's also Otto. I've got a question for you though, mate. Like, there's a question that always comes up in the back of my mind anytime we're talking about this, and with some of the young players, Rizzoli's there, obviously, right? If not now, when?
I know.
Like, if we're not gonna practice again, if we're not gonna try a different style or blood some certain players and try different combinations now, then when we're going to do it? We can't do it in the Six Nations.
And then we have South Africa next summer.
So if not now, when? Like, if we start trying to mess about, like against South Africa, we're gonna that could be embarrassing for us, right? That could be so. If we're not going to do it against Argentina, who there's no shame in losing to, even though we're not going to, or hopefully we won't go in with the same mentality of losing to them, but there would be no shame if we try some new players against Argentina and we lose. Fine. And also Argentina probably thinking exactly the same thing about us, exactly the same thing. If we could, like, let's start Fratelli against Italy. If we win, great. Like, if we don't, fine.
Like Bernasconi, Garcia, Prisciantelli.
Mate, I guarantee that's what they're thinking. Like, I guarantee that's a conversation, at least a conversation at the moment. Like, so if not now, when? And actually, guys who are in the chat and guys who are listening to this afterwards, you can reply to this as well, because I think it's an open question. If we're not going to be practicing, new style of play, new combinations, all of this stuff, when we're going to do it? You guys can
and
tell
then
me.
No, but you know why? Also thinking about Argentina, who's gonna play against? After Italy, they're gonna play against Ireland and then against France. So they have to try maybe now more than in other games to start trying some of their players and get ready for the bigs. Even if they already started, because with Ruiz, Molina, Rubiolo, Grondona, all these players, they are already there, as we saw in the last Indies.
Yeah.
So some players are moving. Let me see.
To answer your question, Claudio, very quickly, he asked, anyway, Quesada seems to prefer minimal changes from match to match. True. But then also, under the previous administration, the mandate was to win at all costs, like, regardless, right? So I guarantee against Samoa, had he had a experimental team and he lost, right, then it probably would have been a different conversation. In terms of, like, where the blame was pointed at. As he was probably mandated to pick a strong team and lost, then it's not his fault, So it's going to be interesting. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in terms of understanding how Quesada sees this cycle and when we're going to start blooding players and when we're going to start capping players, so that come the time of the World Cup, they're 25 to 50 cap internationals and we're laughing. Oh, here we go.
With Argentina, 30-70 for them. They are really strong, but Georgia, we only one result acceptable, so victory. With the All Blacks, let them. Let's forget the humiliation at the World Cup. There's Ian Mac, 44.
Yeah.
Hello, Ian.
Hi, and good to hear from you, mate. So I think you're absolutely right, mate. Like with the All Blacks, it's blank canvas for us, isn't it? It's something where we're not going in with much
We don't talk
expectation.
about.
Don't talk about Bruno, mate.
Yeah, don't talk about that.
But yeah, no, we're not going in with too much expectation. But then also, you know better than I do, and you guys who watch rugby know better than I do. Now the game is such fine margins, right? Like we've said it before, an inch too high, a second too slow, a yard,
A bad pass for a drop.
Exactly, like going off balance for a drop goal. Like those are what defines games. And I think, if we're going in with the mentality that, there's that, we're likely to lose. Like for me, that's just the wrong way of thinking about every game. And again, this is more just sort of generally targeted to some of the comments that I've seen. Like we should be looking to target these games and do our best.
Mike, are you gonna be home watching the game on Saturday?
Me?
Yeah. Or are you gonna be
Yeah,
at
of
the
course.
pub?
No. I'm going to be at home. I've got a family do
Spaghetti
on the Saturday.
meatballs. Spaghetti meatballs.
Yeah,
No.
or if Nils makes some of his magic risotto.
Yeah, the magic mushroom risotto.
Yeah, I mean not that.
Magic
Never
because
that.
it's magic the way he makes it.
Yeah, nice save.
He's the wizard.
just sat there in a different dimension watching rugby. You're fine, mate. Don't worry. No, like yeah, I'll just like I'm not overly superstitious, but when it comes to rugby, like I've watched him enough with my mates where like we've had a bad game and they're just like it's a bit awkward. They don't really know what to say, and I'm just sitting there laughing. Like, what can you say? So yeah, I know enough. Like the first few games, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, me and you are going to go to the Georgia game. So
yes, and talking about Georgia, Steven asking, shall we give Rizzoli go off the bench against Georgia? Not many bigger tests as a prop than against the Georgians.
You know what I find really interesting, Otto? I'm not sure the Georgians are as good as scrummagers as everyone makes out them to be. Look, this is just my observation, okay? And this is going to sound horrendous, right? But
interesting.
I don't think they're as good as scrummagers as everyone makes them out to be. I think that's what they were defined as, and it's just a lazy stereotype now. Their backs are what's good. So their backs are amazing. But yeah,
always scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see. But I think, like for me, Niniashvili as well. Like just they've got some fantastic players that they need to resolve. But yeah. So that's it, really.
Yeah. So just reading this just to wrap it up, because I think it's really good. I'm gonna read it in Italian and then in English. Capiremo a cosa possiamo puntare al 6 Nazioni. Non va dimenticato che in questa finestra il gruppo sta insieme 3 settimane abbondanti di fatto. È un ritiro in vista del nostro mondiale annuale al Six Nation. So we're gonna understand how we can focus and point out the Six Nation. We cannot forget that in these autumn windows, the team is together for 3 weeks, maybe more than 3 weeks in camp, and is gonna be ready for our yearly World Cup, which is the Six Nation, because that's really true. Ian always says this. It's true. We have that to face everywhere. That's we have to point out. The rest is all to work around the big stage.
Yeah,
ready every time.
Yeah, it's the point where we said earlier, isn't it, Otto? It's like these autumn internationals should be sharpening the iron for our Six Nations, because that's where our bread is buttered. Like that's where we make the money that enables us as a nation to reinvest in our rugby. And now is more pertinent than ever. I think it's really important for us to establish that rugby isn't necessarily in the best place for all of the nations. Some obviously doing better than others, and it's important for us to start capitalizing on the Six Nations now that we have the talent to do so. And obviously now is the time for us to learn and, you know, put these provisions in place to make us more competitive come you know, January, February next year. So it's a short term. People sort of tend to forget, like, Six Nations starts on the 31st of January this year. So like we're literally talking,
my God,
2 months, mate. So like it's not long. We're 2-3 months by the time we're in. It's not long for us to be able to, you know, put these provisions in place. And like Ian just said there, realistically, we're talking, you know, a very short window, which is actually, you know, looking forward to really sort of, you know, try and get something in place, these aspects in place, particularly because Quesada said there's a new attack for next year, you know.
Well, looking forward for the game, Mike, and for the squad tomorrow.
That's right.
I hope the best, Mike, for us, for everybody. Hope you enjoy this episode. And nothing else to say than Forza Italia, Forza Azzurri. Let's go, vamos. That's it, right?
That's it, mate. I think we've got exciting weekend, mate. And yeah, tomorrow I'm sure we'll probably put something very brief out with regards to the team being picked. But
we're gonna put the squads out, some new graphs. If you like this episode and all our episodes, if you want to ask something, write a message, a commentary below this YouTube video, in our answer in the Spotify, on X, on DMs, on Instagram, wherever you want. Let us know what you think about tomorrow's squad and about this game. Mike, buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Grazie
Ciao.
a tutti. Ciao.
Ciao a tutti.
Fratelli, the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli, the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.